Okay, so as we continue on in 8.3, this is sometimes the case. The vertex will also be the y-intercept. So let's look at this first one, y equals x squared minus 6. First of all, is it in standard form? Y equals x squared minus 6. Is that standard form?
Good.
Is the y by itself?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then there's no x.
Okay. So what's our a value?
1.
1. What's our b value?
0.
0. And what's our c value?
-6.
-6. Okay, well, we're going to use that little formula, x equals negative b over 2a, to find our axis of symmetry, because then if we know our axis of symmetry, remember that tells us the x value of our vertex. So we're going to put in 0 for b and 1 for a. And simplify down, so we have a negative 0 over 2, because 2 times 1 is 2. Well, what's 0 divided by 2? 0. So we have negative 0, but we know we can't have a negative 0, so we can read it like this. What's the opposite of 0? 0. So we get an axis of symmetry of x equals 0. So if x equals 0, then we have to put that into our equation now to get our y value of our vertex. So we'll put 0 in for x. And 0 squared is 0.
-6.
And 0 take away 6 is -6. So what's our vertex?
0 is negative
0, -6. So there's our vertex.
Where are we supposed to graph this?
Just a second.
Oh, just kidding.
Let's just answer this next one first before we do start to graph. When c, so what is c equal to? Again?
-6.
-6. So remember, what does c tell us? What is c? What
That's
information
where
is?
it is. That's the crossing going on with y.
Yeah, that's the y-intercept. So in reality, if c is equal to -6, that means that that's our y-intercept. So what's the ordered pair name for our y-intercept for this one?
0, -6.
0, -6. So the vertex is what?
0, -6.
Is the
Oh, wires.
y-intercept.
Oh, just kidding.
So if the vertex is the y-intercept, that one point is taking on 2 roles. So we're going to go and graph our vertex, also known as our y-intercept. Let's go put that on our graph. That's our vertex, but it's also our y-intercept. But you know what, right now I don't even care if it's the y-intercept, it's the vertex. Can we reflect it? No, we can't reflect it.
So only have 3 points instead of...
No, we're still going to have 5 points, but now we can't. If we graph the y-intercept, where's it going to be?
On the y.
On top of that, right? It's going to be on the vertex. Well, the axis of symmetry goes through that vertex. There won't. Even if we try to reflect the y-intercept, it's going to end up back on top of the vertex also. So that vertex is really right now kind of like taking on 3 points for us. But yet that doesn't mean we don't have to find all of the points.
I
It
know
just
what
means
you're
that
doing.
now what we have to do is we have to pick an x value either to the right or to the left of that, and find out what our y value will be for that one.
I think this is
Graph
easier.
that point, reflect it. Okay, so let's start. What should we take? Should we take x equals 1, x equals 2? What?
I do 1 for
X equals 1? Okay, so let's, of course I chose that for you. When x equals 1, let's do that one. So we're going to put 1 in for x. 1 squared is 1.
This is easy.
-5.
1 take away 6 is -5. So our y value is -5. So we just found ordered pair 1, -5. So we'll go to the graph and we'll graph 1, -5. And what do we need to do now? Is that the vertex? No, so that point has a reflection point, so it's going to be over here is our reflection point. There's our happy little smile face so far. Only the mouth part. Okay, now we're going to do another x value. We can go to the right or we can go to the left, but typically you always want to pick positive numbers to work with, right? So I chose for us when x equals 2. We're just going to go one more over. So we're going to say y equals x squared minus 6. We're going to put 2 in for x. And we're going to get 4, take away 6,
-2.
and that is -2. So our y value is -2.
I was really confused when I first did that because it was like p equals 1 point way down here, 1 way up here, and I realized you had to.
So we have ordered pair 2, -2. Okay, so 1, 2, -2. So there's the point we just found. Now we need to do what with that point? Reflect it. So it's 2 units away from the vertex. So we go 2 units to the right of the y-axis, and we have a kind of a small little parabola here, but that doesn't mean that we don't just keep extending it throughout the graph.
No, I'm not.
So this isn't hard, is it?
No, this is a lot.
Because we really actually already know what to do. I don't know why it's necessarily easier, but maybe it's because you guys are starting to feel comfortable with this stuff. Anybody got questions about this? So any part of this that didn't make sense?
Oh, we do have to make our arrows all the way out like that?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
Okay, so I have a question. Like, will all our equations today be without that x?
Yes.
No.
Darn.
You get to practice some of those other ones still. But hey, do you think we're ready to make some sort of a conclusion? When will this happen? I think you just said it. When will this happen? When what? When b is 0. Yeah, when there are no x's, this is what should happen. So when there are no x's, so in reality, if there are no x's, if the b is equal to 0, do you suppose we could really just skip that first step of finding the vertex?
No.
Yeah. 0. Because what does it turn out to be?
0.
Or it's going to be 0
it's
because
not two.
it is always 0.
Oh, yeah.
Which means it's going to be the what?
Vertex.
The
Y-intercept.
y-intercept. And can we get the y-intercept from our equation?
Yes.
Yeah. So when b is equal to 0, you can stop and say, hey, wait a minute. If b is equal to 0, my vertex is also my y-intercept. All I got to do is go to the equation and get my y-intercept. And then I know I'm going to have to pick 2 other x values and do what we just did here. And other choices, always find the vertex. I'm just trying to save you a little bit of work. Okay? Okay, let's go to the back side.
I think I got this right.
A is equal to, first of all, is it in standard form?
Yes.
Okay. A is equal to?
-2.
-2.
0.
B is equal to?
0.
0. C is equal to?
4.
4. Okay, those of you who have been working ahead,
Woo.
I'm going to say right now, I was going to save you some work here. What are we going to say? When B
Equals 0.
equals 0,
The y-intercept will be your.
the vertex is the
y-intercept.
y-intercept.
0, 4. Hollow.
So, in reality, you don't really have to substitute 0 in to that little formula, x equals -b over 2a, because what happens every time you have you're dividing into 0, you always get 0. So your x value is always going to be 0 when there are no x's, and then you're going to go put it into the equation, and you're going to always get the y-intercept. So since c is equal to, so here's what you could do. You could do this right here, what we just did, identify A, B, and C. You say to yourself, hey self, B is equal to 0. So I'm going to just skip down and say, oh, well then if B is equal to 0, all I got to do is say, oh, C is equal to what? What was it again?
4.
4? Okay. C is 4. So the vertex is the y-intercept. And there's no, so right now, that y-intercept and that vertex, remember they're taking on the same role. There's going to be no reflection point for either of them. They're the same point. So Jossie.
For those, like, when you choose your points, like, you know, when x is equal, can you always choose 1 and 2?
You should be able to.
Okay.
So let's go to 0, 4 on the graph and put our vertex. And then say, okay, I'd rather work with positive numbers than negative numbers, so let's go with when x equals 1. And now we do have to substitute in. There's no shortcut for this one. What do we do first? Do we take negative 2 times 1?
No, you take
you
1 to the second power.
You square the 1, which is what? 1. And 1 times negative 2 is? Negative 2. If you multiplied first and then squared, you'd have gotten 4 there, right?
I still feel like you should do that first.
You want to change the
Really
math rules,
bugs
don't
me.
you?
Yes.
Negative 2 plus 4 is? 2. So what ordered pair did we just find?
1, 2.
1, 2. Stop and take the time to go put that one on your graph right away and do what with it?
Reflect it.
Mirror it, reflect it. Okay, so now we will do when x equals
I did 2.
2. Okay. So we have y equals negative 2x squared plus 4. We're going to put 2 in for x. Two squared is? 4. 4 times negative 2 is?
Negative 4.
Negative 8.
I meant negative 8, just kidding.
Negative 8 plus 4?
Negative 4.
Okay, what's our ordered pair?
2, negative 4.
2, negative 4. Okay, so now we go to our graph and we graph that one.
Oh, you did it in red.
And what do we do with that?
Reflect.
Reflect it. So it's 2 away from the x-axis where the vertex is at, so we go 2 on the other side, and we have our points for our parabola. So we draw our parabola. Whoops. Okay. So any part about that one you got lost? Okay, let's make a conclusion here. When b equals 0, that's the new thing today. When b equals 0,
Don't have
The
to do
vertex would be your y-intercept.
what are we going to say? The vertex is the
Y-intercept.
y-intercept. And how hard do we have to work to get the y-intercept?
Not very hard.
What do we do?
Just cancel the first step.
No, what do we do? What do we do to say what the y-intercept is?
Oh,
B has to be 0.
okay.
We did that yesterday. Get out yesterday's notes, by the way, because you're going to need them for today's homework to help you out. So what did we say yesterday about the y-intercept? How easy it is to find? What do we have to do?
Well, I've gone 0 for 2, so I'm just gonna prove it.
Divide by 0.
What did we do yesterday to get the y-intercept? You looked at C? We looked at C. So you look at the equation, you say, what's my C equal to?
0.
No. Whatever it's equal to, but what will the x value of the y-intercept be?
0.
0, yeah.
But that's only for B equals.
Yeah, this only holds true when b equals 0. So today when you're doing your homework, if b isn't equal to 0, which notes do you suppose you should use?
Yesterday's.
Yesterday's notes, okay? Any less concerns?